Welcome back to the channel. You'll see all things RC, drone news, reviews, and tutorials on this channel. And today, we're going to take a look at an RC helicopter that broke the internet. It is the internet's favorite RC helicopter right now in our community and so many others out there. It has 5-star reviews all over YouTube. People are loving it, and now they've released a second version of it. This one has not only LiDAR on the bottom for position hold, return to home, all that cool stuff. This one has GPS on board, and it has the option to do an FPV camera if you want to. But the coolest thing about this heli is that it comes in a 2-battery combo. It has amazing scale detail, probably nicer than some of the other ones that I have. I've previously reviewed the Xiang E200 and other scale military helis like the Huey from Flywing back there on the bench. And while that one's a 450 scale, this one's a little smaller, but it is a little bit bigger than some of the Xiang ones. So I like this kind of mid-size scale. It's portable. It has the 4 rotors on here, all the guns, and even like rivet detail on the front. You can add an additional gun on the front as well. And we're going to take it outside. I'm going to show you all the different flight modes on this one. We're going to fly it together, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion about this one. And I have to say, I'm just going to go ahead and say right up front that I have a bunch of those aluminum cases over there that are similar to this one. There has been a whole bunch of these released, different versions of them. And so far, this one is definitely my favorite. And I kind of understand why it's the internet's favorite RC helicopter right now. So you're looking at it right here, the Apache F11S from YuXiang. It's pretty awesome. So let me fire it up for you. Let's check out some of the flight modes, and I'll give you a quick flight demo, and then we'll come back to the bench together and I'll show you what is so special about this helicopter to so many people. Okay, let's go ahead and fly this together. I've got my little Insta360 on the front here, kind of giving you a pilot's perspective. And then we're going to go ahead and go sticks down and out to the center. And I'm going to go ahead and take off and see how this GPS lock holds. We are in GPS mode. It's got a great head speed to it. So we're just going to kind of cruise out here a little bit. I'm going to show you some of these flight modes, but right now I'm just interested to see what it looks like in the air. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's what I'm talking about. Let's go up a little bit and hit the mode button. And let's see if we can get it inverted. And press the mode button. And there you go, it's upside down. So you press the right stick after you press the mode button. And when I press up, it actually comes down. So this is a lot like the same type of controls for a 3D heli. So right now I can get low to the grass, and again, pushing up makes it come down, pushing down makes it go up. So I can come down here and almost cut some grass here. And I gotta remember, when I get low, push down to go up. Isn't that cool? So automatic. Now press the mode button again and press to the right, and it'll roll to the right back to regular. They didn't have that when I first started flying helis, that's for sure. Look how cool that thing looks. God, that's a cool heli. So let's go ahead and try out the orbit mode. That's the O button right here. So if I press down like that, it's gonna go ahead and start getting into position for an orbit. And now it should go around in a perfect circle by itself. If you lose altitude and you think you're going to hit something like those kind of briars over there, I can change the altitude during the orbit, which is super cool. So to get out of it, I just press again, press that same switch again, and it takes me out. Now I'm back into regular GPS mode. And it also has figure 8, which is also that left stick right here. I can press that and start going into figure 8. You don't have to be any certain height to do this. And again, if I think it's going to hit a tree or a bush or anything like that, I can just raise up my throttle, and there it goes, turning into the figure 8 direction. Isn't that cool? I feel like I'm doing a little G.I. Joe mission again. This is like my favorite thing in the world, military scale. Now, I did also crash land this heli, and I did a durability test with it. I thought the landing gear were gonna break, and on this version they have kind of reinforced the front landing gear. The first one that I ever had broke on me, and I was super disappointed. I know a lot of people on the internet broke theirs. So if you own one of these, you probably had the same thing happen to you at some point. Look at that profile right there. Isn't that cool? So now we're into return home. It's gonna go up to about 10 meters, around there, and the controller, I guess, is just gonna beep until it comes back. Another thing I forgot to mention is it does have high and low rates on here, which is cool because you can fly a little bit faster or a little bit slower. So it's coming down. Looks like it's gonna land on its own case. So this is about how close it was to the home point. You know, within a 10-foot radius usually. So we're gonna go ahead and do some FPV now, but before I goggle up, I'm just gonna go ahead and take off and come to a safe altitude. I'm in position hold. So I'm gonna point the copter's tail toward me. And when I feel comfortable with the distance, I'm gonna go ahead and fly out into the field just a little bit, and then we're gonna goggle up and fly FPV. So here we go. On our maiden voyage for some FPV adventures with the new Apache. Low level flying. That's some of my favorite FPV to do, is just really controlled and low flying. That is a lot of fun. So check this out. We're on a mission. We're trying to stay low out of the radar. That's what they do in the military to try to get into maybe, say, a pickup zone or something like that. Stay away from enemy radar, fly low. Isn't that cool? I'm gonna go ahead now and hit the inverted switch, and now we're flying inverted FPV. That's pretty weird. Let's hit the mode switch again, and now we're right side up. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that button again, flip upside down. Now it's stabilized. Now if we push down on the stick, it's going up. I can yaw as well. I can fly forward if I'm crazy enough. Isn't that crazy? Inverted FPV. Now it's coming toward me. Now I'm gonna flip it back over, and we're back to normal. So inverted FPV flying with the Apache. That's super cool. Slightly terrifying, but I did it. Go ahead and take off your goggles and just make your way back to your home point. Get right over the landing point. I'm gonna press the auto land button and let it land itself, do its thing. And that is the new Apache. Freaking cool. So let's go back to the bench real quick, and I'll give you some kind of final thoughts and some suggestions about this heli if you decide to buy it. It is quite an upgrade. It's really cool. So let's talk about it, you and me. Welcome back from the flight test, guys. This is the case that comes along with it, and everything you need to fly this heli is inside this case. Now, inside the case, they do have foam padding on the top. They have a layer of foam over top of all the accessories and the heli itself. We've got the user manual here, and we also have remote control functions and features and how to do the different flight modes, which we talked about in the flight video. Some extra information on mode 1 and mode 2 flying. So it does do mode 1 and mode 2, which is awesome. That just means throttle on the left or throttle on the right, depending on how you fly. Most people in the US fly with mode 2. So inside the case, pretty much everything I need to fly an RC heli is in this box right here, which is awesome. We have our 2.4 transmitter, we have our battery charger, the heli itself, and we have a breakout charger which will fit on any other type of charger out there. So you can plug in the balance port to your regular charger and the XT30 right here, drop the battery in, and it'll start charging. We have the batteries over here on the side, and I've got 3 slots. So technically you could have 4 batteries in here, 1 in the heli and 3 here. Once we pull this out, you can see that it has a smart button here, and it will tell you by 4 LEDs on the front how many, from 25 to 100%, how much time you have left in this battery. Long press again, and it'll turn this battery off. And you have the option for adding an FPV component to this heli, which is nice. It will mount to those two screw posts right here. These two buttons right here, if you push it, it will release this battery from the heli. And this battery is a 3S 1800 milliamp battery, and it should get us a realistic world flight time of about, I'd say, 10 minutes. We also get an extra tail rotor and some additional stickers in here for some US Air Force type stuff, which is pretty cool. And we also get an extra set of blades, 4 extra blades. This is also extra tires, as well as a screwdriver and some extra hardware, just in case you might need it to install things like the turret. And this is the turret gun, which has some pretty nice scale detail to it. It has 2 screw holes on the bottom, and that can mount right to the front of the heli, kind of giving you that frontal sort of gun action there. So getting a battery charging is super easy. You just have to plug this into the wall. This one will charge from 2 to 4S batteries with the balance ports right here. It doesn't have an XT30 port. This is mainly for standalone chargers. So all you really have to do is just plug it into the 3S slot right here, making sure you have the pins lined up. And now all you have to do is take the battery, line up the pins on the front of it, which it won't let you plug it in wrong. And once you start to hear it beep, you'll see that it's charging. It's pretty simple, and that's pretty much it. It's going to beep again once it gets all the way up to about 12.6 volt on the full charge on this battery. It also comes with a European adapter, which I thought was kind of cool. And the total charge time is about 45 to 50 minutes. The GPS version of the transmitter has been updated, so this one is a much nicer transmitter than the last one we saw. On the top left-hand side of the YuXiang transmitter, we have 2 different flight modes here. And once you're in GPS mode, if you push down momentarily, it will go into what they call round mode, which will make it fly around in a circle, similar to orbit mode. If you press down again, it will stop that mode and go back to stable flight. If you press up, it'll start doing figure 8 mode, and it will fly figure 8s on a horizontal axis, which is pretty cool. We also have auto and manual flight modes if you want to fly more of a 3D style mode. On the right hand side of the radio, we have a 3-position switch here, which is optical flow all the way up. GPS mode is right in the middle, and we have return to home all the way at the bottom. If you get in trouble and you need to come back, you're out of line of sight, or you lose sight of your heli or its orientation, just auto return to home with that switch. The next switch over is the lock and unlock switch, which once you do down and out to the bottom corners, you'll be able to arm the heli, and you can take off with manual throttle here. Now, if you press the power button right in the middle and hold, it will turn on the radio. Once the radio is on and you turn on the helicopter at the same time, you have battery telemetry on the radio for the heli and for the transmitter itself. So if you look at the top left-hand corner, it says RX, and we have 2 to 4 bars here for a full battery. TX, we have 4 bars. Right in the center, we see the return to home icon. We have iFly. We have the channel percentage right here for the throttle. You can see the channel changes there from 0 all the way down at the bottom, and it should go all the way up to 100% right there. It also shows you your heading here for north, west, east, and south. We also have how fast it's moving, the speed in meters per second on the very bottom, and distance from the home point, as well as the height. Now there's also a satellite count right here in the center of the screen, and it says 0 right now. And once you turn on your heli, you'll notice that this back green LED right here starts to flash, and it will start to connect to satellites. You'll want to wait till this stops blinking. It will give you a solid green light, and it will beep once it has a solid connection to your GPS. Once you do that, you have marked the home point, and then it will be safe to take off. So you can see here on the transmitter, I've already got up to 13 satellites, and this should go to a solid green once we have satellite lock. And we've recorded the home point position. So now it's full solid green, and it's recorded the home point. It's safe to take off. You'll have a much better hover. Now, one of the things that a lot of people on the internet like is the fact that it has so much scale detail to it. It has rivets, it has LEDs on the left side of the wing and the right side, a red one here and a green one on the other side. The GPS and status indicator If we flip it around, you can see those green lights on this side. And if we look underneath, you can still see the battery voltage on the very bottom, and I have a fully charged battery right now. You can also see the brushless motor right on the bottom, and the green glass back here. This is the LiDAR cameras. There are two here and one here for optical flow. So it has a little bit of a combination of optical flow, infrared sensing, and the LiDAR sensor for position hold. On the back of the heli, we also have a rear-facing red LED, another brushless motor back here, which is running the tail and the four-blade rotor. And we have to talk about the landing gear because the landing gear has been kind of a long ongoing design process with this series of helis. The first one that I received from YuXiang broke on me, and my left one broke right up front on a hard landing. And this one has been redesigned because this version does have spring-loaded landing gear in the front. Which actually ended up saving mine. You can see it kind of bends back right there. And I had the wheels break clean off of my first version, so that was kind of a disappointment. One thing you will have to watch out for with this version is it does have kind of a hard mount tail wheel back here. So this tail wheel has no spring in it, and it is a hard plastic mount right here. But the most I've had it happen to me so far is this wheel just kind of comes off when you have somewhat of a hard landing, but it goes right back on the hub and you're good to go. And there's a look at the heli from the front. I mean, look at the scale detail. It almost looks like the real thing sitting there on the bench. I also have to mention that the weight is 560 grams with the battery on board. So technically you'd have to register this one with the FAA. And they say the suitable age for this one is about 16 plus. But I've seen 8-year-old kids flying 700 millimeter size helis that fly them better than adults do. So kind of just take discretion with that, depending on the kid who's flying it. So let's talk about some final thoughts about this particular helicopter versus some of the other ones out there. I mean, I've flown all of the YuXiang versions. We had the original version, the YuXiang helis. We've flown them FPV. I have seen the progression now for more design, a little bit larger airframe than some of the previous ones. I think they're getting to a good size, and a lot of people are saying they wish they would make a 450 size. So maybe they'll make one about the size of the Flywing helis, which would be super awesome. Or maybe Flywing will make one of these Apaches eventually. They do have the Huey now, but right now we're pretty happy that this one is just a little bit bigger than the previous version. And it seems like everywhere I take this heli, guys are commenting on just how cool it looks. I mean, if you're into military scale aviation, it doesn't get much better than the Apache. The way this one looks, this is a total gunship. And if you know anything about these particular helis in real life, they kick ass. So yeah, this is a badass heli. And one other thing that I did find out some more information about you, being able to fly these on other transmitters. So if you have a Radio Master Boxer or you have the TX16S, it will bind up to ELRS receivers. And there is information in the manual about how to set it up inside, say, something like the T20 as well for OpenTX or Edge TX. So that's fantastic. You can fly it on the stock radio, or later on you can upgrade it to an ELRS receiver, as well as S-Bus and DSM for Spectrum guys. So yeah, you've got pretty much any radio out there that's popular for our community. You can bind this one up to and fly it. But right now, I just can't stop looking at this heli. It's just gorgeous. I love the way it looks, and I had to bring you another review on this one because it's so freaking awesome. So you can check out the link down below. It's from our friends over at Razordon, and I got to say thanks to them for sending us this heli to fly for you guys and have some fun with, because I've been flying it since I got it, and I love the way it looks. So it's going to end up on the channel much more because, yeah, it's the most popular RC helicopter on the internet right now, as far as our following and a lot of the other channels. People are loving the Apache. So F11S version with GPS, that's the one you should get versus the one without GPS. So yeah, if you're kind of into military scale, you'll love it. Just sit there and, I mean, look at it. Look at it. It's crazy awesome. But I love military scale. If you want to see more military scale on the channel, stay tuned, subscribe, and you're going to see more military scale stuff coming up. I have another fantastic heli to review very soon. Another heli that's going to blow your mind. So stick around, pick this one up. Let me know if you got this one or if you already have it. Make a comment down below and like the video as well so we can rise up in the YouTube algorithms of RC hobby videos. Guys, I'm Justin Davis. Take care, and I will definitely see you on the next one.